General Galactic is a startup based in El Segundo in California. Their mission is to build a railroad to Mars with plans to build a spacecraft for rapid logistics around the solar system. It's no surprise they've chosen water as a fuel for their propulsion system. Water is abundant throughout the solar system, from the frozen lunar water ice in moon craters to near-Earth asteroids, are likely just below the surface of Mars. Their vision is to offer the best in-class thrust and efficiency of any spacecraft at the lowest cost. They believe cheaper and faster access to orbits will have a transformational effect not just in Earth orbit, but on Mars and beyond. With routine commercial launches to orbit now solved, thanks to SpaceX and Rocket Lab, with many other companies not far behind, General Galactic is focused on orbital infrastructure and mobility. Cheap and fast mobility in space opens up orbits beyond Earth. This is the railroad to Mars the company refers to on their website. The startup has a team of engineers from many space companies, including SpaceX, Varda Space, Relativity Space, and others. Okay, let's look at their propulsion technology, the key piece that unlocks moving easily and rapidly around the solar system. Genesis propulsion. General Galactic makes the point that space travel is limited by propulsive capability. Spacecraft in general are not efficient, quickly burning through their fuel. Their objectives with Genesis propulsion are for high thrust with good delta V, which is a measure of mobility. The higher the delta V, the more spacecraft can maneuver in space, for instance, changing orbits or perhaps even leaving Earth orbit and traveling to the Moon or Mars. Their propulsion system will also be multi-mode, that is, it can work as a chemical thruster or using electric propulsion. Blue Origin's Blue Ring space tug works in the same way, offering high thrust chemical propulsion for major maneuvers and highly efficient ion thrusters for station keeping, minor course corrections, and orbital debris avoidance maneuvers. Other companies I've covered on this channel also plan multi-mode propulsion systems, such as Argo Space, which has similar plans for a water-powered spacecraft with plans to extract lunar water ice to source propellant off-world. General Galactic uses water as their only fuel. It's non-toxic and available throughout the solar system, once extraction technology has been developed. Water as a fuel is versatile. It can be used directly as a propellant, cracked into hydrogen as a fuel with oxygen as the oxidizer, perfect for a high-thrust chemical engine. And finally, using hydrogen on its own makes the perfect fuel for nuclear propulsion, but more about that later. Many missions have distinct phases. First, a high-thrust phase, that is when a spacecraft leaves orbit, perhaps to travel to the Moon or Mars. Then a cruise phase that may require mid-course correction burns, followed by a braking burn to enter a new orbit, and finally the station-keeping phase, where the spacecraft maintains a stable orbit around a planet or moon. Multi-mode propulsion is exactly what's needed, switching between high-thrust and high-efficiency, depending on the phase of flight the spacecraft is in. Spacecraft vehicle development. Space is no longer a benign environment, with large numbers of derelict satellites and upper rocket stages, plus random fragments of debris due to previous collisions. Spacecraft need to be agile, as warning times about impending collisions may require a quick response. The company is developing a Seldon satellite bus, a likely callback to Isaac Asimov's Foundation novel and the character Harry Seldon. His plan in the novel was to quietly seed a new civilization that will rise faster and stronger than the previous one. Like Harry Seldon, General Galactic is not dreaming of a galactic future, they're quietly building it. This satellite provides 1.5 kilowatts of payload power and can carry 400 kilos of payload. On their website, they mention a Dreadnought spacecraft type that can carry multiple tons of cargo. It's currently in development. Nuclear propulsion plans. Hydrogen is the ideal propellant for nuclear propulsion because it's the lightest of all elements. Since fuel efficiency depends on exhaust velocity, using the lightest propellant possible results in high fuel efficiency. Hydrogen can be sourced from the Moon, asteroids, and Mars. Since hydrogen is present in solar winds, any celestial body is likely to contain hydrogen on the surface. The technology to harvest hydrogen needs to be developed along with alloys that can withstand the extreme temperatures in the heat exchanger needed for nuclear propulsion. The company, on their website, mentioned both nuclear electric propulsion, which is highly efficient, and nuclear thermal propulsion, which has high thrust. Both systems have their uses. Nuclear electric propulsion is better for outer solar system robotic missions, while nuclear thermal propulsion is best for fast crewed missions to Mars. Propellant Generation. The company believes traversing the solar system is ultimately a refueling problem. Opening up the solar system isn't just about high thrust and high fuel efficiency, it's necessary to be able to refuel throughout the solar system. The company has stated they want to build a gas station on Mars within a decade. Right from the beginning, General Galactic began working on the technology to source propellant from the moon. They tackle the two main issues: how to excavate lunar soil and how to split water into hydrogen and oxygen. They have developed space-rated electrolysis cells that will form the building blocks of propellant factories on the moon and Mars. They developed their own reactor that can produce oxygen, hydrogen, and methane from resources available on the moon and Mars. General Galactic Development Timeline. The company has a phased approach to achieving its goals. Let's look at their near-term, medium-term, and long-term goals. In the near term, they're focusing on reducing the dollars per kilo to orbit. Water as a fuel is easy to integrate onto a spacecraft, the supply chain is simple, and water is abundant, cheap, with no storage or handling issues. In the medium term, the company believes nuclear-powered propulsion is the way forward. It opens up the outer solar system to robotic exploration and provides fast crewed transport to Mars, cutting the time and the radiation exposure in half, with transit times around 3 months instead of the usual 6 months using chemical thrusters. In the long term, General Galactic believes the key to opening up the solar system is positioning propellant stations on and around planets and moons. Upcoming events. General Galactic should be launching its first spacecraft this year, with plans for lunar missions starting in 2028, followed by cargo missions to Mars in 2030 and infrastructure deployed on the Moon and Mars for propellant production in 2035. Do you agree with General Galactic that water is the ideal fuel for spacecraft? Do you think nuclear-powered spacecraft is the way forward? And is opening up the solar system ultimately a refueling problem? Leave your thoughts and opinions in the comments section below. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this space video, consider buying me a coffee to help fund more episodes like this. The link is in the description. Space News Live is on Saturday evening or Sunday morning, depending where you watch from. The live stream is a great way for you to share your thoughts and opinions on the videos I posted this week, or on any space topic in general. I highlight the most thought-provoking comments on videos I received, along with previews of upcoming content. If you got the time, please tune in and say hi. Be sure to like and subscribe so you'll see our upcoming videos. We make videos every week covering the space industry, with an emphasis on the smaller space startups that aren't covered so well on other channels. See you soon.